Hello, welcome everyone to the Royal Turner Bombs, my discussion of the 138th most popular film of 2001. We have a former guest watching, Chaz Tenenbaum. I'm going to press the little wave button. Hello, Chaz. Thanks for tuning in. So tonight, joining me, we have another special guest. This is not one of the three siblings in the Tenenbaum family, but someone who is just as important. The wonderful Eli Cash will be joining us, and I am adding him right now. Oh, Margot's here too. Hello, Margot. Oh, Eli.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Of course, thank you. We can both adjust our cameras to get our heads ever so perfect. So I'm
Can you see my face?
a virtual handshake. I can see your face just perfectly. Thank you. Everyone, I'm once again supporting Blue Jacket. Everyone, please support your businesses. And
Yeah, I'm supporting a less local company, but it's Heineken Zero, which is the 0% alcohol beer. Because as you guys know, I'm very sober.
Yes.
Which I actually just got out of rehab.
Was it the same rehab from the movie?
Yeah. I've been in that rehab since 2001.
Okay.
And I just got out. And it's good to be out. Things have changed, but it's good to be out.
So, okay, this is very interesting. So you have been in rehab for 19, going on 20 years.
Yeah.
As soon as you leave, talk about what you think of the world right now, Eli.
Oh my gosh. Well, so first, I'm just going to start off and say, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. It feels like when you watch the movie, my story is not gotten into quite as much. I feel like a little secondary.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to speak my piece a little bit. I just appreciate it. But yeah, I came out and I was having a hard time, honestly, because we're all about our screens now. It's, screens here, screens that. And really what was happening is I found that without cocaine and pills and alcohol and marijuana and all the other fun stuff I used to get up to, it is hard to get my creative juices flowing. So I've been able to not party as much, and that's been fine. But gosh, getting back into writing, my art has been hard.
A case of writer's block, if I may.
Exactly right. But I'm happy to tell you that I recently have broken through. I'm working on my next book, and I don't want to blow up any spots here, but it's gonna be pretty good.
Well, look, I mean, this is the place. You say you want to tell your story. Why don't if I may, can I ask you a few questions about the book?
I just finished the first chapter. I mean, I got it here. If you want me to do a reading,
I would absolutely love a reading.
Absolutely, yeah. Let me just just get into it a little bit here.
For those of you that just joined us, this is Eli Cash, as seen in the 2001 documentary of the famous family, the Royal Tenenbaums.
Some call me the fourth Tenenbaum kid.
The fourth Tenenbaum kid, yes. He lived across the street, grew up with them, lived with them. And he's reading the first chapter, I guess, to his new book that he's working on. Eli, take it away.
Thank you so much. The year was 1922, and Long Island had never been so exciting. When I moved in across the bay from Gatsby, I was shocked, seeing him every night reaching out towards this green light. You don't know this, but he has a secret love for Daisy Buchanan, and that's going to come up in chapter 2. But Gatsby had been throwing these parties all summer, parties the likes of which you've never seen before. They'd go on from 10 o'clock at night until 3 in the morning, and sometimes the last party wouldn't stop before the next one would begin. I'd never met anybody like Gatsby in my life, and sorry, it's a lot of the same Long Island stuff for a little while here.
Okay, so can we dig into this a little bit?
Yeah, there's a lot of the chap. Yeah, sure. Yeah. You want to talk? Let's talk about it.
You'll get back to it. Okay.
Okay.
So this is amazing. So if I may, so we as a culture are already
Mhm.
familiar with a very famous literary character named Gatsby. And so it sounds like it's the same Gatsby that we know.
Gosh, I've been out of the loop for the last 20 years, rehab. Like, I don't know what new books have come out. If it's kind of resembling a book that's been out before, I mean, it's totally unintentional. And of course, I'm going to look all that over before I publish. But
Of course.
um,
Okay.
I haven't kept on new books really.
Okay. I mean, so I will say the book is fairly old, and in fact, it's considered a classic. But I don't.
What's the book called?
It's called The Great Gatsby.
All right, well,
Yeah.
gonna
What
have to
do you
change
think?
the title of this one.
Yeah. What were you thinking of calling this one?
He's a really good Gatsby was the title of the book currently.
He's a really good Gatsby. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. You know what? Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I understand that these books can really seem very similar at the beginning.
Okay.
But you get into the meat of it a little bit, and I think you'll see.
So do you have some notes on the meat, or
Yeah. Let me just I don't have it all written out quite as lovely as that first section was, not as poetic, but
yeah,
I can give you some bullet points.
I would love some bullet points. And
Okay.
if I may, the prose just beautiful. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't do this for the praise, but I really appreciate the praise. So thank you very much. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff with Gatsby and Daisy, and I think we'll get involved a little bit. But then there's excuse me.
So Daisy, can you talk about Daisy?
Daisy is Gatsby's long lost love, but don't worry about that. We're gonna breeze past that in the first couple pages. I don't want to interfere with that other Gatsby book, and then we get into what I think is the real meat of the thing. Later, Gatsby and our narrator character go to New York, and they're on the subway. Say again?
What's the narrator's name? If
It's Holden Caulfield.
Oh!
So they're on the subway. Holden's on the subway, and he's delivering these fencing foils to this competition in New York. And he leaves the foils on the subway, and gosh, they get off. And you wouldn't believe the number of phonies they come across. It's a really difficult time.
Time out,
Yeah.
Eli. Okay, so I'm no longer worried about just The Great Gatsby.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. I thought it would be. It's different. It's a different book now.
Okay, yes, you're right. It is a different book. So Holden Caulfield is a famous character from The Catcher in the Rye, another well-known book that pretty much.
But I got to tell you, like, I know people want to draw their conclusions and stuff about the stuff that was released while I was gone. But again, I didn't read the stuff. I didn't read the stuff while I was gone. I've been doing my own thing.
Okay, it just, Holden Caulfield famously hates phonies. And so that right now we have Gatsby, Long Island, A Green Light, and Daisy Buchanan. And
right.
Holden Caulfield and hating phonies and so,
well, let me answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Do you know somebody who likes phonies?
Damn, you got me.
Thank you. So I'm just saying, maybe you're putting some specifics onto him that are maybe pretty universal.
That's you know what? You are the writer. What do I know? So
you know what? We take a real left turn in a moment. I really think that you're gonna find that it's its own thing entirely now.
I love it. Hit me with it.
So after they encounter the phonies, they realize that New York's become a little bit too much for them.
Okay.
And luckily, Gatsby has been working on this time machine. So they hop into it and they appear in this elegant ballroom. And everybody in this ballroom is very, very nervous because Mr. Darcy has just gotten into town, and he's a single man of means, and like I always say, any single man of means is gonna frickin' want to get married, right?
Of course.
So I've got these sisters. There's a bunch of sisters. One is plain, one is not, one is really not. And I think I don't have a place for it yet, but the name Bingham keeps coming to mind.
Okay, Eli.
Yeah.
This is Pride and Prejudice. This is.
Well, okay. I'm a proud person, but I'm definitely not a prejudiced person. This is an interview. Let's be nice to each other.
I'm saying, Eli. There's a book by Jane Austen called Pride and Prejudice about
Look, I don't know who James Austen is, and I don't know what he's been putting out there while I've been. Again, let me do you know about rehab? Do you know what it's like in there? You're pretty closed off.
Yes, I can appreciate that, and I think a lot of people right now with the isolation, the social distancing, are starting to kind of get a little taste of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry if it's coming off as insulting to your work that you've clearly worked really hard on.
I've got a tough skin. And I can push right through it.
That's why we love you, Eli.
Hey, love right back at you, man. I guess. Okay. Well, all right. Then we'll put my notes down for a second.
Okay.
Let's spitball the next section. No notes. We'll go off the dome together. You can help me build this thing.
Okay.
So great. Let's take out some of the stuff we've already worked on. Let's keep bare bones stuff. Okay. I like that this time traveling thing we went back to was in England. I think that's cool. But let's bring it into modern times, or at least fairly modern. Okay. And let's make it. I got it. Let's make it exciting. Let's make it. Okay. Page 1. Mr. Dursley hates magic. All right, he's like the least magical person you've ever met. But you wouldn't believe who his nephew is. What are you saying?
What's Mr. Dursley's first name?
I don't know. I'm off the dome. Something like, I don't know.
Is it like what, Vernon? You thinking Vernon?
I wasn't thinking Vernon, but that's actually a great idea. I'll pop that in there. It was going to be Lewin.
Lewin? You know what? I actually like Lewin better.
No, Vernon Dursley it is. That's totally fine. His nephew is going to be a wizard.
Okay.
And I guess.
Wait, if I may.
So
we're back bare bones and everything. So
yeah.
You started off with Vernon Dursley.
Right.
Nephew is going to be a wizard.
Going to be, but he's probably going to go to like school or something.
Okay. Here's my question.
Yeah.
So we're right on the line right now. We are dangerously close to another famous book that's already been published.
Okay.
But I think here's where I can help you out. If we take a left turn.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on the wizard, which would on its surface seem more interesting.
Right.
We talk about Vernon Dursley. What's his story?
I can do this. Okay.
Yeah.
So Vernon. He builds drills. He builds industrial drills. That's what he does. He works for a company called Grumman's, and they're a rowdy bunch, and they're a bad bunch. And we find out over the course of the book they are not just making drills anymore. They're making industrial weapons, and these weapons they get out of control. Okay, and they actually lose control over the weapons themselves, and they end up throwing the world into like this apocalypse. And Vernon is totally to blame for this stuff that is going on. And he dies in shame. But luckily, he's got this descendant, like years and years down the road, who is like perhaps going to emerge and take back the family name in an important way. And she'll have some kind of like cool apocalypse name, and she'll have some kind of crazy weapon. I don't know. We'll call her Katniss for now. And she'll have like a bow and arrow. And she will win back I guess Dursley is probably not like a future name. We'll make it something crazy and fun, but still British sounding, like Evergreen or Everdeen or something. But it will, because it has the ver from Vernon in it. So I think we'll be able to make it work. It's future bullshit. People will buy anything.
Okay, Eli.
Yeah, what's up?
We started off so well, but
yeah,
I'm just gonna call a spade, okay?
Cool.
It really sounds like you're just copying well-known books. Like so that what you're describing now, this future dystopia with Everdeen, that's Hunger Games. And Vernon Dursley and his nephew, that's Harry Potter. Eli, what's going on, man?
Okay. Can I level with you for a second?
Absolutely. Tell your story, please.
Look, I've been through a lot. I've been on a journey of self-discovery, and I have had a difficult time. So I came here and I wanted to impress you. And so I came up with some really good book pitches that I don't think are as close to these things as you say they are. And I got to be honest, at this point, it's kind of feeling like you're trying to jump on my thing.
Oh, no,
Like, you're like trying to make me think like, oh, this is a bad idea. So I go home tonight and I'm like, I dump these ideas. And like 6 months from now, there's like 6 books coming out that you have come up with that are just like,
Eli, I want you to know, I could never be a writer because I'm horrible at typing. Truly terrible. I type with like 4 fingers.
you should see a doctor.
I could, but I won't. So 2, it seems like I'm trying to poach your ideas.
Yeah.
Eli, I'm looking out for you, man. Copyright law in America is just so hard to get through. Once they're coming after you, right? So I'm just looking out for you, man. I know
You know what this feels like? You know what this feels like?
What does it feel like?
When I was a kid, I had this next door neighbor, all right? And he was like a fine guy, all right? But one time he was outside and his parents had made him paint his fence, all right? That was like the job they'd made him do. And I saw this and I was like, nah, that seems like a bummer job. But he tricked me into thinking that it was the most fun thing in the world to paint this fence. And he was like, you know what would be a blast if you painted this fence. And he tricked me into painting that fence. And I will never forgive Tom Sawyer for doing that. And I will never forgive you for treating me that way.
Okay, you know what? Actually, Eli, if I may, I think I actually have it wrong.
Okay.
I don't think you're lying about
Thank you.
I don't think you're lying.
Thank you. Good. Okay, great. Good interview. Thank you. This has been nice.
I think, well, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so there was a beer called Dos Equis, and there was a man who was on their advertising campaign, and they called him the most interesting man alive. And they would say,
yeah, that was me.
He did all these exciting things, and he's the most interesting man alive.
Yeah, that was me. That was me who did that.
I do think it was you. Like, you don't have to tell me that. You've lived all of these lives, and somehow the only way that people know Eli Cash's name is because of some other family that lived across the street. I'm beginning to see all that darkness inside of you, where that comes from, right? Eli, you're a fascinating person. I want to hear
Thank you.
more.
That honestly means a lot to me, and I think I kind of needed to hear it. I had a weird childhood. You saw the movie. I never felt at home with my own home, and we didn't come from means, and my parents couldn't afford the best care or education. I mean, God, they hired this nanny to watch me, and gosh, Amelia Bedelia was a total disaster. And I feel like she meant well, but I wasn't being taken care of. And we had this huge red dog that just was so difficult to watch and take care of, and it was just I don't know. It's been hard. It's been hard. I really appreciate you realizing that.
So Eli, before we go, we're almost out of time, and I'm so glad that you were able to open up and share your stories.
Thank you.
Because I think we need to flip the script. Instead of all these are other stories that came from other places, I think all these stories came from Eli Cash. So there is a very famous story, and I want to know if you were involved.
Okay.
All I'm gonna say is there is a garden, there is a snake,
right?
There is some deception, and then there is a fall from grace, if you will. Does that sound familiar at all?
All right. Okay. So yeah, when I was in rehab, I did create a small world, and I don't want to get into it too much. And I understand that I did those people dirty. You be a deity for a few weeks, and you tell me how easy it is. And yes, I've been resting. I've been on the 7th day. I rested, and I continued to rest. But I'm only human and a god. So
you're human and a god. And if that does not sum up Eli Cash, I don't know what does. Eli,
thank you very much.
This was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking your time. The virtual handshake. Everyone stay safe out there. Thanks for tuning in. Eli, it was a pleasure.
It was, yeah. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.